So you want to be a hacker, and you clicked on this video because you know that hackers use Kali Linux because it can do a lot of things like scamming, phishing, credential stealing, password cracking, DDoSing. Kali Linux can do a lot of stuff. And it would be really bad if you were up against someone who knew how to use this tool and didn't like you very much. That's why I'm learning it, so I can see what I'm up against. And also because doing this as a career legally would be really cool. Today, you're going to learn a few exploits, but before I get into that, quick disclaimer, everything I'm doing today is legal. This is all my own hardware, this is my own network, and this video is for educational purposes only. I am not encouraging you to break the law using this stuff because you will go to prison and the feds will definitely get you. Also, it's not like these exploits still work anyway. Anyway, here we go. We have Kali Linux. As you can see, it's a little weird looking. We have some folders, this thing, and a recycle bin. It looks pretty similar. These are workspaces, so if I wanted to make something, just a random folder, put it right here. And okay, if I have Firefox and I go to the other workspaces, that's how it works. There you have your text editor, and then every tool you have is going to be organized in these categories right here. So you have the basic stuff, reconnaissance, seeing what you're up against, resource development, all the goodies. But today I'm going to be focusing on something a little bit different. In fact, this hack was so huge that it caused billions of dollars worth of damage, and it was developed at the NSA. The only reason we know about it now is because somebody found out before they could take advantage of it. We're going to go ahead and run MSF console here. This is the Metasploit framework. Now, I don't know how this thing works. I'm not a skitty because I don't break the law. Maybe I am. I don't know how hacker lingo goes yet, but I want to learn more about stuff. So here we go. This is the terminal. I'm guessing you've clicked on other videos like this. You're at least familiar with how this goes. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to search for a specific exploit. So I'm going to search for EternalBlue. And what this does is it allows you to get into any Windows 7 machine that is connected to the internet. Anyway, let's take a look at it. I have VirtualBox open. So I have Windows 7 and another vulnerable vulnerable virtual machine. Now that I've said that correctly, here's how this goes. So in order for me to find out the IP of this Windows machine, I would either have it because this machine clicked on a link that I hosted and I was not a good person and I decided to harvest their IP for something, or I'm already in their network and I need to do a quick scan. So for that, I'm going to be using Nmap. That is, if I were not lazy, I would be using Nmap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here. I'm going to open up the terminal and I'm just going to find out what the IP is directly. Looks like the IP is 192.168.1.138, and this is the private IP. All right, so we're going to use the first exploit in this list, use 0. And now you'll notice that the current active exploit has changed. It has a payload, which is what's going to be running on the other machine by the time we make the connection. And we have a few require options that we have to set. Looks like one of them is already set. And then our hosts. Our host is the target machine, the victim machine. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set our hosts 192.168.1.1.3 something. What is it? I forgot. 138. Boom. Now that that's set, we have everything we need. We can try running it. You could type runner exploit. And as you can see, it says Windows 7 Ultimate. It can see something there. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. If it works, you can do anything and everything on that computer. You have complete access as much as, yeah. Okay, so I'm in now. Let's see what I can do with this. So there's a lot you can do. There's some really, really alarming stuff in here. Key scan, yeah. If you get passwords somehow, you can get those if you want to. Send mouse events, you could send mouse events. But yeah, this is the scary stuff. Record a microphone, webcam chat, webcam list, webcam stream, a current stream. That is nuts. And I'm going to show you how you can stop this if it's happening on your Windows machine, both how to prevent it and also how to stop it if it's actually happening in real time. Well, the way this is configured by default is Windows has a bunch of processes that are running and listening on open ports. Specifically, there's one called port 445. Now, I don't know how it works, but you can stop it from being able to do anything if you go to the firewall. And this is a preventative measure. You go to outbound rules, you looking for this one, file and printer sharing. If you double click that and go to protocols and ports, 445 is the port that has to be used because that's the port that this is running on. So if you wanted to disable this, what you have to do is that. And now, you check back, it's not going to change anything. We're still in, we could still do things. But if I were to stop this and try to connect again, it wouldn't work because the port wouldn't be open. Now that's cool, but what if the attacker's already in? You know he's in because he's messing with you. How do you get him out? Well, by default, I don't know if you can change this. I've read that you can. There's a program called Print Spooler. It's not even a program because you can't see it in the task manager by default. It's a service. So you have to take a look at this. Find Spooler. Right there. All right, Spooler. Now this stuff is pretty much useless. All it really has to do is stuff with printers. So if you don't have a printer, just hit stop. Access is denied. Okay, that means you have to do it via the terminal. So you're going to run the command netstat and then with the options A and O. And you can see there's lots of stuff here. What we're looking for is that. Right now, this is our machine. None of the other IP addresses go to anything else. It's just that. And if we had another terminal open, we can run, for instance, just netstat. And we can see that's the only connection. It actually has the name of the computer that it's connected to. So if he's really sloppy, you'd be able to see that. But as you can see, the process ID, that's what PID stands for, is established at 340. So we just have to kill that. The command you're going to run to identify the process that we've now established with a process ID is task list /fi search operator PID EQ and then the ID that we found earlier. So in my case, that's 340 close quote, and we're going to see what that is. All right, that is this executable right here, which is a service. It's not a program. It's not going to show up here. Here's how you kill it. You're going to run task kill /PID 340. And you're going to add this on the end of it. This forces it to close. So as you can see, Spooler is still running. If we hit this, I forgot to open this in administrator. Let's do that again. Boom, gone. And if we go back to Kali, the attacker's kicked out. Anyway, if you're thinking of trying an exploit like this on somebody, keep in mind, practically nobody uses Windows 7 anymore. And the people that do have it air-gapped because it's usually businesses that don't have the time or don't want to risk messing up their infrastructure upgrading. But that's a good look into what Kali is all about.